AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's rock!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. We are not at the Raising Cane studio today. We're at the Spine Center in Baton Rouge and thrilled to be here with our friends from Spine Center. Always hospitable and glad to be hanging out here over the next 3 hours. We got Cam Jordan's contract details that we are going to sift through. The high school coach for one of LSU's premier signees, Terrance Smith, he'll be here in a bit. LSU running back commit Trey Martin in 1 hour. Lloyd Peaver, former LSU pitcher, today elected to the College Baseball Hall of Fame. He will be here in hour 3. We have a ton to do, so let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
So the big news is the Saints wrapped up mandatory mini camp a day ago was that Cam Jordan was there. Cam and the Saints agreed to a contract, a 1-year deal. Cam was out there on the practice field. We all sort of anticipated what that contract would be like, a low dollar amount with an incentive-laden deal, much like the deal he signed a year ago with the New Orleans Saints. Well, now we know the terms of that deal, and it's exactly what we thought it was going to be. Hat tip rap sheet, Ian Rappaport on X had this earlier today. So Cam has a 1-year deal with a max value of $11 million. So, excuse me, the base is $7.5 million. So he'll get $615 in a signing bonus, and then $135 in the base. So that'll be the base value of his contract, and then he has up to $3.5 million in incentives. A year ago, Cam's deal was about $1 million less than that one, but 6.5. So they're giving about $1 million more guaranteed base with the opportunity to get to 11.5 with SAC incentives. Great deal. If you're the New Orleans Saints and you look at Cam Jordan entering year 30, his age 37 season, his 16th season in the NFL, a guy who, as we've really documented here, has been declining ever since 2022, had a very nice season a year ago, but still playing roughly half the defensive snaps of the season as a rotational player. You don't pay him like a starter. You pay him like a rotational backup. And you give him incentives that if he becomes really productive like he did a year ago, his contract can be more valuable. So I'm not moving off this spot at all. It's exactly what we thought all along. Hat tip to the New Orleans Saints for being fiscally responsible, for sticking to their number as they often do with free agents. And then hat tip to Cam for having the humility to accept this contract and accept where he is in his career. And then the opportunity to come back and finish his career in New Orleans, which, although he didn't say it, this is very likely the last year of his NFL career. And he'll play this final season, his 16th in New Orleans. And that's awesome. Look, Cam in his career has made $146 million. Okay. To be exact, $423,840 in career earnings. Now, look, there's taxes and agents' fees, and we all understand that. But the bottom line is, dude has made 9 figures playing football. It's not that Cam is hurting for the money. It's about respect and knowing your value in whatever it is that you do. And that's true for quite literally everyone. It doesn't matter what you do for a living. If you're excellent at what you do and you feel like you provide value for the company that you work for, you want to be compensated accordingly. That's just reality. Cam and the Saints went through that. They had to balance what they feel he was worth. He had to balance what he feels he's worth, and they came to this agreement. Look, if the market spoke differently and Cam had an opportunity like DeMario Davis did with a multi-year deal with guarantees with the Jets, the market spoke, and the Saints weren't willing to pay DeMario Davis with the Jets were. Now, I hate that because I think DeMario Davis was worth every penny of that deal had the Saints given it to him, but they decided to go for a guy that's nearly a decade younger, less productive, but a decade younger in Caden Ellis. That's what they decided to do. And here they've made it work with Cam Jordan, which is great. So Saints wrap up mandatory minicamp. Now they get to sort of just go for about a month. The team gets to go do their own thing for a month. Take a vacation, get your body right for the start of training camp at the end of July when everyone sort of reconvenes. And when the next time we see the Saints all together on the practice field, it's going to be at the start of training camp, and it's going to be a dramatically different feeling than a year ago because, of course, a year ago at the start of training camp, you had Tyler Shough and Spencer Rattler, I guess, and to a degree, our guy Jay Kaner with his glamour shots out there battling, but I think we all knew the reality there. But it was Shough and it was Rattler battling for the starting job, and that was really the crux of camp a year ago. Now it is just It's given. It's Tyler Shough's team. He's the starter. And so now it's about Tyler Shough using this next month to prepare himself as best he can for his first full season as the starting quarterback for the Saints. And when Shough met with reporters as they broke for minicamp, he was asked, by the way, about Cam, because there was a story going around there that Cam told that Tyler Shough was just pestering him all offseason about returning to the Saints. Here's what Shough said about it.
Yeah, we were texting all throughout the offseason. I don't know who was pestering who. He was sending me some stuff and all his derby days and all the things that he was doing, man. I could tell just he wants to be here. He understands this is his place, this is his home, and he's been such a great leader and influence for me, being from the same hometown, who he is as a person, his impact on the community, and I can't be more happy to have him back because he just brings that element for this team that you can't explain.
You know, it's Cam being back is awesome, but we got to see Cam play a full season a year ago. The other player that's back that's notable is your starting center and Eric McCoy making up that battery. And probably something we, hands in the air, haven't talked enough about is how important that is. Because remember, Tyler Shough started the final 9 games of the season, so he didn't get to play with Eric McCoy. We had Luke Fortner in there at center a year ago. So this is going to be a new battery mate there as well for Shough. Now, Shough in preseason, all no doubt in camp, got to work with McCoy, but as far as being his battery mate in game, in season, this is going to be new, and Shough talked about having McCoy back.
I mean, I think he just adds that extra veteran element where he's seen a lot of football. He's been great for me because him and I, even though we didn't get to play together, we were around each other every single day, going to O-line dinners. And I mean, we had our son born within 24 hours of each other. So we were at the hospital together, and I loved him. So he's been great for me, just to be able to learn and talk with him. For the whole O-line group, I think it's kind of just that solidified position.
That's awesome, man. I didn't realize the story about their sons being born at the same time and being at the hospital together, which is really cool. Life experiences will certainly create a bond. And I think the other thing that's really important about Shough is, I mentioned, this next month, these 4 to 6 weeks, right? The team will have now to break, right? Go. Now, Tyler Shough lives in New Orleans, but you want to go take a vacation with your family, go do it. But make sure you come back for camp, body right, ready to go. So for Shough, he was asked, okay, for you, what are these next 6 weeks like?
Yeah, I'll be in Oregon, and then I'll be in San Diego. Drew's kind of helping set up our QB wide receiver throwing retreat, so we're getting all the guys to come down there and being able to just work and bond together. And then for me, it's just kind of continue to study the playbook and then just put my feet and my eyes in the right position. That's my whole focus. And right now, this OTA phase, you're not necessarily getting full speed padded reps, but you're installing all these new plays, making sure we're getting everything right. And I think we've done a really good job of that as a team, and we've gotten closer. That's kind of the main thing. We just highlighted in the team meeting room all the fun things that we've done this whole offseason, and this is probably the tightest bunch that all of us have been around.
Cam Jordan is back. Eric McCoy is back. Tyler Shough is the unquestioned starter. You've added a legit number 1 wideout weapon in Jordan Tyson. There are 2 questions that remain to be answered in this offseason for the New Orleans Saints. Number 1, what is going to happen with Alvin Kamara? The consensus is he is not playing this season under his current contract. So does he take a pay cut? Did the New Orleans Saints cut him? Does he retire? I don't know the answer to that. But that's something you would assume is going to be rectified in the next 6 weeks. And then number 2, do the New Orleans Saints get an extension done with Chris Olave? He could certainly play this season on the final year of his rookie deal, having signed, the Saints having picked up his fifth-year option. He could play this year on his fifth-year option and become an unrestricted free agent after the season, or do the Saints get ahead of it and get this done before the season starts? Two big questions about premier players for the New Orleans Saints offensively that still need to be answered, very likely before the Saints hit the field for training camp coming up in late July. All right, it's After Further Review. Thanks for hanging out with us here. Our show open every day, is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, official beer of your Fighting Tigers of LSU, and the official beer of the New Orleans Saints. Summer is here. Man, you're going to be out at the beach, hanging by the pool, maybe just spending some summer days at your favorite watering hole, going out to eat with the family when the kids are out of school. Make sure you grab a delicious ice-cold Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR. All right, today's show is here at the Spine Center, and we're thrilled to have you aboard with us. Do not live with back pain. Put back pain behind you. Here, Spine Center, the great docs can help you make that a reality. SpineCenterLA.com. SpineCenterLA.com is the website. All right, let me knock out a quick break, y'all. When we come back, I'm excited about this conversation. Terrance Smith is a big four-star offensive lineman that committed to LSU earlier this week. His coach, Dom Diadana, is going to join us when we come back next. Tell us a little bit about what LSU is getting in the big four-star offensive lineman. We'll get to that next here on AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about our friends over at Duplessis Pools, where a major congratulations are in order. For the second consecutive year, Duplessis Pools has been named by Pool and Spa Magazine a top 50 pool builder in America. What's more, Duplessis Pools was the only pool company in Louisiana to earn that designation. So it's not just my opinion telling you I think they're the best pool company in Louisiana. You can look at Pool and Spa Magazine awarding Duplessis Pools that honor for the second consecutive year. One of the top 50 pool builders in America. Derek Duplessis, as I often tell you, an engineer by trade. He'll build you a beautiful pool that will last. They stand by it with a 10-year workmanship warranty, and you can start designing that pool right now at DuplessisPools.com. Get to the website at DuplessisPools.com.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at DecisionCriticalBR.com.
Rolling along on a Thursday edition of AFR from the Spine Center here in Baton Rouge, and glad to have you aboard with us. Lane Kiffin and his staff on an absolute recruiting heater. 9 prospects committed here in the last 10 days or so, and among them, big 4-star offensive lineman out of Lansdale in Pennsylvania, Terrance Smith, who popped for the Tigers earlier this week. His head coach, Dom Diadana, there at Lansdale, is good enough to join us for a couple of minutes here. Coach, it's a pleasure. Thank you for the time. How are you?
Well, thank you. I'm doing great.
We appreciate you for taking the time. Let me just start with sort of an obvious one. What makes Terrance Smith such a highly sought-after prospect?
Well, a 6'6", 280 probably as a rising sophomore. I mean, you can't coach size. You know what I'm saying? He's very athletic. You notice him right away on the football field, whether he's playing offense or defense, and he's going to do good. He's going to do some good things for LSU, that's for sure.
How did, as best you know, how did LSU get in the mix? Because it's Pennsylvania isn't typically an area that LSU recruits very heavily.
To be honest with you, I think it was just through Terrance's popularity throughout the conference, or throughout not only the conference, throughout other colleges. I think they do their due diligence. They don't let any stone get overlooked, and I think they did a great job of recruiting him.
Let's talk a little bit about Terrance, the football player, and then we'll talk about Terrance, the person. You mentioned the size, 6'6", 280, and you said you can't coach size, which is obviously true. What attributes in his game stand out? What's his best traits?
His athleticism. He's played a couple different positions up front for us on the offensive line. He's played guard. He's played tackle. He's played right tackle. He's going to move. He started at left tackle, moved to right tackle, moved to guard. Obviously, he can fit in anywhere because he's very adaptable. He's very he's got a great football IQ, and he knows how to adjust his position, so to speak.
Dom Diodano is our guest. He's the head coach at Lansdale there in Pennsylvania. He's Terrance Smith's high school coach. If I asked you what you think as a young guy he still needs to work on, where do you think the biggest room for improvement and development is?
I think because of his injury in his sophomore year, I think he needs just a little bit more strength to his body. He's got great length, in his arms and all. He's got to be able to continue to work and develop on the process of really getting finishing off plays.
It's interesting. You mentioned an injury as a sophomore, and sometimes we got to remind ourselves, like, these are still young people at 16, 17, 18 years old that are going to physically develop and grow into their bodies. So maybe this is a hard one to answer, but I'll trust your perspective. You said he's played all over the line for you there at Lansdale. Do you think he's listed as an interior offensive lineman? I'm looking at the Rivals page here. Do you think he maybe projects better as an interior player or as an athletic guy that can get out and play tackle?
No, I think he projects more as an athletic guy playing tackle because, in his early high school career as a freshman, he did play basketball. He moves up and down the court very well.
Yeah, if you got good...
he's got good feet. He's got good reactions. And it just goes to tell about his athleticism. Yeah.
One of the things you always tell, man, those big guys that play basketball, their quick feet and their soft hands typically translate well to playing tackle. Coach, tell us, if you would, a little bit about Terrance Smith, the person.
Terrance Smith, the person, is every bit a great kid. He's a great teammate. He helps his teammates. He guides his teammates. He doesn't see himself above and beyond. He's just one of the guys, part of the family. That's how I see him.
Is, one of the things that I think it's a fair question to ask of every prospect nowadays is, are they willing to sit and wait their turn? When you have a guy that's a top 100 overall prospect in America, they probably anticipates he's going to go play. Is Terrance a guy that you think would be patient enough to wait his turn at LSU if he's got to do that?
I do believe he is. He's big, and he really wanted to know how he was going to be developed. Okay, and with the staff that he's going to go to in a year, I believe that he's going to get what he wants, and he's patient enough to learn more about the game at that level to wait his turn, so to speak.
Coach, how the Crusaders going to be this year?
Well, strength of us is going to be that offensive defensive line. And if we get if we can settle in on a quarterback, we should hopefully, be as successful as we were last year. Last year we went to the semifinal and state championship.
Well, that's awesome, man. Well, Coach, wish you the best of luck with your team coming up here in the 2026 season. Of course, we'll be keeping an eye on you now with Terrance Smith heading for the Tigers, but playing another season there at Lansdale in Pennsylvania. Coach Dom Diodano, we appreciate the time. Thanks so much for fitting us in today.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
It's our pleasure. Coach Dom Diodano there at Lansdale, Terrance Smith's high school coach. Good conversation there, good perspective. It's always good to get the high school coach's perspective on the prospect because they're with them so much on the field and off the field as well. I want to react a little bit to that. You can as well if you want to email us, tweet us, or text us, 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. We're here at the Spine Center today, and literally one floor below us is the Williamson Eye Center. So this building, if you're on Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, if you're familiar, you turn off on a Bacardi and you come up and make that first right at the stop sign. Well, the building on the corner, that building right there is where we are today. The third floor is Spine Center. So look, I tell you all the time, Dr. McCarthy, Dr. Herod, one of the things I love telling you about those guys, man, of course, Dr. McCarthy is from Michigan, went to Tulane and stayed. Dr. Harrod's from here, went to Harvard, came back. So world-class physicians here at the Spine Center. Same as with Dr. Blake Williamson at the Williamson Eye Center, just a floor below us. Dr. Blake's from Baton Rouge, is the third generation in this practice, left for school, went to Columbia in New York, went to Johns Hopkins in Baltimore, spent time in London as well, took all these world-class experiences and brought them back to Baton Rouge to provide world-class ophthalmology here at home for the Baton Rouge community that he loves. So if you want to see 2020, call 924-2020. Set up that consultation. I was walking up here past a full waiting room over there at the Williamson Eye Center on the second floor, which was awesome to see. WilliamsonEye.com, Williamson, EYE.com for the Williamson Eye Center. I'll tell you the two things that stood out most about the convo there with Coach Dom Diadana about Terrance Smith. One is he sees him as a tackle, because I look at the Rivals page and they have him as 6'7", 290. By the way, Coach said he was 6'6", 280. Rivals has him at 6'7", 290. I'm just saying. Anyway, he's listed as an interior offensive lineman, but his high school coach there says he thinks he probably projects more as a tackle. And you're talking about a guy who played basketball and get up and down the floor. I mean, you hear the one that sticks out to me all the time when I think about that is Emory Jones. Emory Jones was a dominant high school basketball player as well, not only because of his size, but he had great feet, soft hands. And when you're that agile with your feet and your hands, you're going to be really good out in space as an offensive tackle, because you can kick slide, you can get in front of a fast rushing end. You're good with your hands to get your hands engaged with somebody, move around. So that skill set translates to being a tackle, as opposed to being just a big dude, get your body inside of someone else's pads and move bodies. So I thought that was interesting. The other was, thinks he's a guy that'll stay. It's one of the questions that I'm going to ask a lot of these dudes. We have Trey Martin coming up with us here in 35 minutes, the 4-star running back, out of Winsboro, and Franklin Parrish, and that's a dude that's a top 150 overall player, and he's one of 3 running backs in this class now, and LSU's got 6 running backs on the roster. And guys like that, we've played the clip for you so much here on my Locked On LSU podcast of Lane Kiffin talking about how the staff evaluates high school players now and what they look for in character in guys, because guys don't stay. Well, they want guys that are either going to be immediate contributors or guys that are going to come here and stay. Because the last thing in the world you want to do is pay a recruit, have them show up for a year, not play, and leave, and then you've just wasted that money from your cap, from your roster budget, however you want to phrase it. So if that's your approach, then you're either looking at guys that will be immediate contributors or guys that are willing to come and sit and wait their turn and grow and develop and stay. Now, you're not going to hit on 100% of those, but if that's the propensity of your class, then you're going to win more than you lose. Not on the field. I mean, you're going to win more than you lose with those prospect battles. So Terrance Smith, sounds like LSU got a really good one there from Pennsylvania. All right, it's After Further Review. Thanks for hanging out with us here. Thursday shows are presented by Decision Critical, Concierge Nursing, DecisionCriticalBR.com, DecisionCriticalBR.com. It's not just healthcare, it's healthcare for your lifestyle. All right, let me knock out a break, y'all. We will come back. We'll go around the SEC. Muse will have that for you. Also, what else did I have in this coming up segment? I got to get you the latest on the Brendan Sorsby thing. So it's official. It is officially official. Filed the paperwork and everything for the supplemental draft. But my goodness, there is now a new public battle between Texas Tech and Cincinnati. There's attorneys involved and all this sort of stuff. We'll sort it out as we continue to stay here at AFR.
AFR.
RevFiber.com, REV, RevFiber.com. Go to RevFiber.com if you are sick of your internet. If you just get incensed like I do, when you get the spinning wheel, Alondra got to see this a little while ago because Wi-Fi on our little hotspot wasn't doing so great, so she got to see me get really frustrated. I own it, all right? I'm a passionate person. You know where I don't ever have to worry about that? In my home. Because, 8 weeks ago, whatever it was, 3 months ago, Rev laid fiber in our neighborhood. We immediately switched. Now I have lightning fast internet speeds, and I never have to worry about it going out when it's like the storm came through last night. Never have to worry about it because the cables are buried under the ground. RevFiber.com for your home, for your business, lightning fast internet speeds, home automation, security, phone, cable. They do it all, and they are local, and they'll give you better prices. Rev Fiber. Why wouldn't you switch? RevFiber.com. RevFiber.com. If you are in the market for a metal building, you have to know about Proform Steel. ProformLA.com. ProformLA.com. Super easy. ProformLA.com. Doesn't matter if you need a big industrial building, maybe you're looking for a commercial building, warehouse, or you just need a metal shed in your backyard. It doesn't matter if it's industrial, commercial, residential. If you need a metal building, you want Proform Steel. Brandon Golson is the best. He's actually been on the licensing board. We all know his ethics. He's been in the game forever. This is the new entity. It's Proform Steel, ProformLA.com, ProformLA.com. One of the things I love about Proform Steel is they use American materials on everything. There are no exceptions. They use American material on everything and free delivery on every building. You buy it from them, they will deliver it for free no matter the size. ProformLA.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Is there anyone who looks worse throughout the Brendan Sorsby situation than Cody Campbell? Now, he may not care because that dude sold his company for $4 billion and he could buy an island if he wanted to. I'm sure one of the tiny islands that's playing in the World Cup, his net worth is probably higher than the GDP of some of those places. So he may not care what you or I or any of us think of him. But just from a PR standpoint, ain't nobody look worse than Cody Campbell throughout this whole thing. That stupid 20-minute video they all did there at Texas Tech, and then Cody Campbell doing radio and television interviews, basically trying to gaslight all of us, and we're all just looking at him like, we're not stupid. I get it, you're rich, but we're not stupid. And if you missed this, he was on something called Everything Lubbock on KAMC TV on Tuesday, and he basically says that the decision not to play this year at Texas Tech and to go to the supplemental draft was Sorsby's decision, not Texas Tech. Give a listen.
We more or less ran out of time. He had to make a choice on whether he was going to stay in college or try to stay in college or go in the NFL supplementary draft, which is a very unusual thing that's done, but the deadline for that is June the 22nd. And with all the different legal challenges that were going on from the Big 12, potentially from other places, there was no way to know with certainty that he was going to be eligible or that there weren't going to be additional sanctions placed on Texas Tech.
So Cody Campbell said that it was Brendan Sorsby's decision to leave, saying that he didn't know if he was going to have eligibility, if there would be other sanctions or whatever. So Sorsby made the decision to not pursue the opportunity to play at Texas Tech this season and instead go into the, as you call it, the supplementary draft, the supplemental draft. It's okay. He pays for a college football team, not an NFL team. Anyway, enter Ross Dellinger today, who got a hold of the motion to dismiss from Brendan Sorsby's attorney, who filed this motion to dismiss Sorsby's case, right? Sorsby is the one who filed the lawsuit in Texas court to get the injunction, whatever. Sorsby's attorneys filed a motion to dismiss in Texas court stating Texas Tech informed him on Monday he could not play for the Red Raiders this season. Y'all, this is in a court of law. Now, we could talk about evidence and all different types of things that might come out of this. The bottom line is Texas Tech, the ones that pounded the table and talked about Joey McGuire, he didn't kill anybody. Joey, he didn't kill anybody. McGuire out there. Cody Campbell, they just don't want us to be good. The athletic director over there at Texas Tech out here trying to gaslight us into believing that this is what you do for your son because he's got a disease and an addiction, so you stand by him and get him the resources they need. Basically, Texas Tech on Monday were like, yeah, sorry, kid, all that stuff we said, that wasn't real. We were just kind of hoping you get to play so we could win some games. So anyway, you got to go. You got to go. So we'll see you later. Peace. And Cody Campbell, meanwhile, 24 hours before this hits court, is up there on television in Lubbock arguing that Sorsby made the decision to leave. Like, there's an old saying, but by the grace of God, there go I. And, what if this were your school? What if LSU kind of did in a way go through this with Kayshon Boutte, because we later learned that he had been betting, but it was after we learned all that after his time at LSU was done. But I'm not naive. It's so easy to sports bet, and I'm certain that Brendan Sorsby's not the only player in college football who's betting on sports. Probably not the only one betting on his own team. We just haven't learned all of them at this point. So what I would say sort of as a cautionary tale, if you're the fan clenching your fist and pounding the table, or the media member writing the op-ed, or the radio host screaming about it, you better be prepared to hold that line if something like this pops up with someone on your favorite team. Because, but by the grace of God, there go I. And if you think Brendan Sorsby is the only one sports betting, I got some oceanfront property in Bunkie I'd like to sell you. So keep that same energy. We're going to be talking about this with RJ Lewis, too, and y'all going to be really mad at me with that. It's a reality. All right, it's After Further Review. Thanks for hanging out with us here on this it's not hump day. Y'all, I ain't trying to go backwards. I'm looking forward to that weekend. We're brought to you by Arco Power Systems on this Thursday edition of AFR. Arco.com. So just yesterday, our first named storm comes rolling through. And look, there was high winds and heavy rain and tornadoes in southern parts of our state, and I certainly hope that everybody came through it okay. Seeing some of the flooding and some of the devastation from the tornadoes it's harrowing, but it's a reminder of what we talk about all the time and what we know. If we live where we live, and we know we're in the path of storms, and this is always a possibility. We hope there's nothing damaging that ever happens, but the worst thing that you could do is not have a plan. And the worst time to try to get a plan together is when the storm's in the Gulf, or when it's bearing down on us. This is why you have to be proactive for your home, for your family, but also for your business, and that's what Arco Power Systems does. Arco has turnkey solutions to get you industrial Generac generator power. This is for your industrial facility, your commercial building, whatever business you run. If you need Generac standby generator power for your business, for your commercial facility, Arco. ARCCO. Arco.com, Arco.com, Arco.com. They're the best. Home base is right on Airline Highway at I-12, but they service a giant multi-state footprint. North to Little Rock, east to Mobile, west to San Antonio, all points in between. It's Arco Power Systems. ARCCO, Arco.com, Arco.com. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad to have you aboard with us here. Muso will take care of it today. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference.
Texas A&M!
Five-star linebacker Caden Henderson has committed to Texas A&M. He's out of Tampa. Picked the Aggies over Notre Dame and LSU. Missed roughly half his junior season a season ago. Still had 49 tackles and 9 sacks. Number 1 linebacker in the class of 2027. Number 4 player out of the state of Florida.
The Florida Gators.
Speaking of Florida, the Gators landed 2027 linebacker Trey Geathers. He committed on Thursday out of the state of North Carolina. They beat out Tennessee for the 3-star. Really picked up steam in his recruitment over the last 2 months. 6'2", 195-pounder, 45th ranked linebacker in the 2027 class. Florida's 23rd commitment.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
Ole Miss baseball has landed a commitment from Jacksonville State lefty Eli Pillsbury. He announced that earlier today. 6'2", 200-pounder, 4.07 ERA, and a 6-3 record. 89 punch-outs and 77 1/3 innings pitched. He's expected to step up and contribute on the weekend for Mike Bianco's Rebels.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Arkansas, if we go back to football here momentarily, they landed at a safety out of Texas. That is Kevin Grant, announced his pledge to the Razorbacks here on Thursday. 6'1", 195-pounder, chose the Hogs over Tulsa, UNLV, San Diego State, and North Texas. Also a track athlete, 4.3 40-yard dash, about a 24-foot 7-inch long jump. 17th recruit for the Razorbacks in 2027.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
And lastly, Alabama basketball has announced a neutral site series with the Iowa Hawkeyes. That will get underway this season. Report comes from John Rothstein. Tide will travel to Des Moines for the neutral site game on December 21st of the 2027 season. The return trip will come next season in 2027 in Mobile. Of course, Iowa, Cinderella run through the NCAA tournament, made an Elite Eight, upset Florida. Alabama, their non-conference features Houston, Miami, St. John's, Seton Hall, and they'll be in the Players Era tournament in Vegas to go along with the bout against the Hawkeyes. There you have it. That is around the SEC.
All right, I got to remind you about Evermore, but before I do, Muse, what was the name of that pitcher that committed to Ole Miss?
I'm so glad you asked this. Eli Pillsbury.
Why are you glad I asked it?
He's named after the Doughboy.
Yeah, so why don't you have the Pillsbury Doughboy sound effect queued up?
You're on remote, and it's difficult to play some sound effects sometimes when you're on remote.
It's factually inaccurate.
It's not. That's why we don't do the drops.
We do drops.
I'm talking about to begin the show. It echoes.
I mean, what a giant missed opportunity. I mean, you could have played it there while my mic was down. I mean, the fact that Muse, this is manna from radio heaven. Kid's name is Eli Pillsbury. I mean, we've been looking for a new one. You know, we ditched Justice. I mean, we finally working in Charlie Smith a little bit there with Charlie Bit Me, and the Saints kicker hit it.
Nope.
Charlie Bit Me.
I mean, your boy's name is Eli Pillsbury. I guess I'll just do it. We'll workshop it. Oh, we are brought to you by Evermore. EVAMOR, Evermore.com. I've always got Evermore with me. I keep the 64-ounce bottles at home. I keep them in my office. I try to drink 2 a day. So I stay good and hydrated. Doesn't mean I pee all the time. Not that you need to know that, but that's good. It's a very healthy thing to do. Stay hydrated, especially when it's hot like this outside. You got to remember to stay hydrated. Evermore, natural artesian water, right from a natural spring, right at the well on the North Shore. Listen, yeah, you could buy that crappy bottle of water from Texas. You could buy it in that square bottle with the pretty flower on it from a foreign country because you think it's better. How about you support a great Louisiana product that is straight from the source, like right out of the spring well on the North Shore in Covington, into the bottle, natural distribution. Source matters. It's natural artesian water. It's a rare alkaline source. It is Evermore. EVAMOR, Evermore.com, Evermore.com. You want to know who drinks Evermore? Eli Pillsbury. When you say Muse, it's doable. Pillsbury. Eli Pillsbury. No.
It should have played right there. Hold on.
Wait. Guy's name is Eli Pillsbury. That's so good. Now pitching for your Ole Miss Rebels, Eli Pillsbury. I mean, tell me that ain't going to be so good. It is stupid. It's stupid, but it's great. All right, it's after further review. Thursday shows are presented by Decision Critical. By the way, I would like to point out, however, that we successfully played a drop there like 4 times while I'm on remote. It's very doable. Especially when we're talking about Eli Pillsbury. All right, it's after further review. I do, we got a break. I do want to talk about Caden Henderson the five-star linebacker who had LSU on his list, picked Texas A&M. There's a bigger picture story here happening with A&M and recruiting that I want to get to here in a bit. But the Saints also today did announce the two newest members of the New Orleans Saints Hall of Fame, and I got a thought on that. So we're going to get to it here as we wrap up hour number 1. Thanks for hanging out with us on a Thursday edition of AFR. We're live at the Spine Center. Stick around.
After further review.
GLO, glowresources.com, glowresources.com. They are complete employer solutions. It's Glow Resources. Hey, if you're hiring, if you're the person in your business responsible for finding the right people, and you're having trouble, you need Glow Resources. Jareth Nakian and his team, they're awesome, and they serve businesses in every category, literally all over the world. It doesn't matter if you're looking for skilled blue-collar labor or any type of office job, from an office assistant up to the C-suite, everything. Welders, pipe fitters, crane operators, any type of skilled blue-collar labor, they can help you. And at Glow Resources, they help businesses all over the country, even placing employees at jobs all over the world. Like there was a company from California. They found an employee in Texas for a company in California that was doing a job in Africa. It's crazy how they can connect those dots. GLO, glowresources.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
The New Orleans Saints announced both Terron Armstead and Mark Ingram going into the team's Hall of Fame. The press conference was Thursday. Two all-time greats in Saints history, but from very strange perspectives, rooted in expectation. Here was Terron Armstead, the former third-round pick out of Pine Bluff, on his election to the Saints Hall of Fame.
I'm honored, humbled, thankful, grateful, appreciative, all the synonyms. And that's not enough to express gratitude for this moment, being here. My family here in the front row. A lot of the leaders of the organization that took a chance on me, a kid out of the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. Really small school, probably hard to see my film, Mickey. You guessed on a lot of things, but it worked. Mr. Tom Benson, Mrs. Gail Benson, Dennis Lauscher, Mickey Lomas, Fast Freddie, Sean Payton, all the names. I can go down the list. Play a part of my story, my journey. And without those names, without those people, I would not be here today. Being in this Hall of Fame for this organization representing this city I couldn't write a better story. It's perfect for me. It's perfect for my family. This is everything for me. This is I made it. I finally feel like I made it. This is the pinnacle. This is the reach. This is the goal, to be inducted with my brother, Mark Ingram. Sal, we just met, but we've been around for a long time.
Terron Armstead was a third-round pick out of Pine Bluff in the 2013 draft. They loved his athleticism, thought he could play tackle, and they were absolutely right. Armstead ended up playing 9 seasons for the Saints, 97 games, 93 starts. He was a 3-time Pro Bowler in New Orleans. He was second-team All-Pro in 2018. That, of course, was the Saints team that went to the NFC Championship game, got no called, as we know. He made 2 more Pro Bowls during his time in Miami. So in all, a dozen NFL seasons, 131 starts, 5 Pro Bowls. Terron Armstead is one of the great stories in Saints history because he was a player from the FCS who became an anchor at left tackle on some of the great Saints teams. His career only really was limited by injuries, as he never had a season in his entire dozen-year career where he played a full 16 or 17-game season. Didn't happen at all. But in spite of that, still had an outstanding career. And I think it's an interesting contrast to look at Armstead, who was the third-round pick from an FCS school, who became an NFL, a 5-time Pro Bowler and a perennial starter at left tackle on some great teams, some playoff teams, and an Ingram who was a Heisman Trophy winner, a first-round pick, for whom the Saints traded back into round 1 to take Mark Ingram, and left New Orleans as the franchise's all-time leading rusher. and certainly is worthy of being in the Saints Hall of Fame because he left as the team's all-time leading rusher. But Ingram also played a dozen seasons in the NFL, and he didn't have a 1,000-yard season until 2016. And he went back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons in New Orleans in 16 and 17. And, of course, his best season ever was when Alvin Kamara came into the league, and they had that complimentary piece. But for Mark Ingram, it was really a disappointment at the beginning, because you traded a first round to get back in round one to take Ingram. And as a rookie, he ran for just 474 yards, then 602, then 386 in 2013, and then had a nice season in 2014 where he's just shy of 1,000 yards and ran for 9 touchdowns. But then he dipped in 2015, and only when Kamara showed up did Ingram really start to flourish. But you only got that for a couple of seasons in New Orleans. Then he was off to Baltimore, then Houston, then back to New Orleans, where he just ended up playing another 7 games in 2021 and then 10 games in 2022. But it's interesting because in the context of the New Orleans Saints, Ingram is certainly a Hall of Famer because the Saints just don't have a long, storied history. And when he left as the franchise's all-time leading rusher. In the context, the bigger picture of the NFL, you would look at Mark Ingram and you would say that's a guy who was a first-round pick and the Saints traded back into round 1, and it took him a half-decade to even become a consistent player, let alone a good player. But it's just, as I mentioned, the strange contrast of Ingram and Armstead because of expectation. If Mark Ingram were a third-round pick and we're talking about playing a dozen years and leaving as the franchise's all-time leading rusher, huge success story. What you gave up to get Ingram certainly defines in part his tenure and his career in New Orleans. But both Armstead and Mark Ingram going into the New Orleans Saints Hall of Fame. So congrats to both of them, two former Saints greats that will go into the Hall of Fame together, the team's Hall of Fame together. All right, it's After Further Review. Thursday shows are presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing, Decision Critical BR.com. As we always say, it's not just healthcare, it's healthcare for your lifestyle. If it's end-of-life care, bringing home a newborn, maybe you're having surgery and you need someone to help you get home and carry out post-operative orders, Decision Critical can help. All right, we're going to wrap up hour number 1 here. SportsCenter is around the bend.
After Further Review.
You know, I always love reminding you about Lee Michaels, but there's times of year where it's even better. Of course, like around the holidays, people love giving jewelry, maybe getting engaged around Christmas. Valentine's is a natural spot as well when people love to give jewelry. But the summer is so interesting because it really is engagement season for so many people. A lot of couples love to get engaged during the summer. Maybe you're out of school, you take time away from work, whatever the case may be, your summer vacation, you go to the beach and you're looking for that beautiful scenic backdrop to drop down on bended knee and pop the question. Well, if you're going to do that and you need the ring, you need Lee Michaels. LMFJ.com, LMFJ.com, LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. LMFJ.com. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. 9 locations in all. Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, where they specialize in the Lee Michaels experience. Great selection at a great price. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry.